Why buy it when you can build it for 3 times the price? Knob top here, and you know, this is a little project, pretty easy, a lot of 45-degree cuts. Basically what I'm gonna try to do here is cut this to a size that the glass will fit inside, and you know what they say, if the glass fits. No matter what project I get myself into, I usually try to avoid table saws, mostly because they're terrifying and they just don't cut very precise. Specifically for like thin wood like this, it's just not ideal. I was having all kinds of trouble. I switched over to the bandsaw and it was amazing. I angled the table to 45 degrees, cut all my angles, and now we're gonna do a little assembly. I just have to take a second to say that this fast-acting band clamp from Pony, it's amazing. It was an impulse buy that I saw at the hardware store when I was leaving with all my materials, and I thought, you know what, let's just give it a try. I don't really build a lot of frames, but this could work, and it does. It works amazing. Now I put some extra little bar clamps here just to make sure everything was straight because I wanted it to be exact, but that strap is so awesome. And you can see here, I'm cutting this little border here for my shadow box, and I'm gonna end up using that strap again to frame everything in. The reason I'm building this is because I found that it's actually really difficult to find a 4-inch or deeper shadow box. And most of the places that sell shadow boxes, they're not built out of wood. They're built out of like that cardboard wood. After everything dried, I'm doing some sanding here, make sure that sander's straight. Oh man, that thing was not at a right angle and I sanded it crooked. Got everything together, and you can see here that little lip catches the glass perfectly. Make sure everything's good, and what I'm gonna do here is cut another section, basically making a box inside the box. And the reason for this is so that way I can have a recess so I can put the back of the box on and be able to have that area inside to put the stuff I'm gonna fill it with, which are gonna be the lights and a little sound bar that I'm gonna set up. Found this at the thrift store. It's a little backing board. Perfect, it worked out. These are actually kind of expensive if you go to buy one just to use for this, so it was great that I found one at the thrift store. It's pretty neat how this assembles. You put the glass in, your print, and then your little sidewalls there, and then the backing, and there you go, it's ready to go. And this thing worked out, give it a little sanding, and time to send it to paint, which is me painting it in my backyard in my bare feet. Something I didn't really show, but you got a glimpse of it right there, is that I'm building 4 other boxes like this because I figured I don't want to have to do this over and over again. So I figured out of 4 of them, I should have one that looks pretty good for this project. And I'll have the other ones to use for other things. So for this little project, I'm gonna put a arcade button in so that'll activate sound, which will be really neat on the top. And so I just need to do some test cuts here to make sure I have a hole that will fit the button. And of course, the hole drill set doesn't have the measurement I need, which is 28 millimeter. You know what that means, don't you? Nice, that's gonna be real good. Perfect, okay. Time to make the actual drill. Now, like I said, I made 3 other boxes just in case I mess up on this, but here we go. Nice, all right, and now it's gonna activate the sound. So I'm gonna gut this old radio here. I need the speakers out of it. And so my thought is I'm gonna put these speakers inside of a little acrylic tube, plastic tube, I guess. And it's a protective tube that's used for fluorescent bulbs. And the idea is that it won't block the backlight that I'm gonna put inside, but it will also create this cool, like, echoey effect as it pushes out the side. So of course, gotta drill holes in the side. Gonna do the inside parts first to make sure they fit and that lines up right. Gonna line up those circles and then cut the holes in the exterior of the box. This is actually like the most stressful part of this whole project, mostly because I spent so much time sanding and painting, and I was worried that I was really gonna mess it up. So with the boom tube all in place, I'm gonna need to protect it. So I decided to get these metal strainers from the dollar store and use those because they fit in perfectly. So I'll put those to protect anything from getting into where the speakers are, but it won't hinder the sound, that juicy sound that's gonna be coming out of this thing once we get it set up. And of course, this tube's not gonna fit, so we're gonna have to trim it down a little bit, and not a big deal. The plastic's so easy to work with. Any day I'll deal with plastic. Now, if this was acrylic, that'd be a little bit trickier, but all right, get that metal in there. tighten the button on top, and it's getting there. It's getting there. We're almost there. This is looking pretty good. I'm gonna save the reveal to the end. All right, now we're gonna wire up these wires here, and this is basically going to a little soundboard that I pre-programmed with some sounds. The button's gonna activate it, and the speakers are gonna blast it. Let's take a listen. And if you're interested to see how this sound chip works, leave a comment, let me know, because I wanted to just stick with the actual overall build of this one, but I'll be happy to share how I set that up and the custom sound that plays out of it. Finishing up my very generic soldering job, I got some heat shrink there to just make it look a little bit better and hide how bad my solder joints are, but everything seemed to work. And so I didn't film the part where I actually hot glue in all the LED lights. I always recommend, if you're gonna stick these lights in, they usually have a sticker back, but they never really hold. I always recommend just a couple dabs of hot glue or additional sticky tape or something just to keep them in place. So gonna put this little reflector on the back just to get as much light out of those LED lights. And here we go. So the way this is set up, it's all powered off a USB power bank, and the controller controls the lights. They have all different kinds of functions, and the button's gonna control the sound. All right, let's take a listen. I am so happy with the final result of this. This thing turned out exactly like what I was hoping for. It turned out way better than what I was hoping for, actually. And I didn't mention it in the video, but the print that you see is something that I designed, and I found out that Staples will print on clear plastic. And so I put that clear plastic in, it made the colors real punchy, and then backed it with some opaque white. And be sure to leave a comment if there's anything I skipped over or things you'd want to know more about. Be sure to check the description for everything in this video. Knob Top, go make something.
That's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh, it's so much easier. It's crazy.